Hi, everyone. It's a ticket to Christ. Thank you for tuning back in. We're focusing this week on learning from the Lord Himself about faith, right? What Jesus taught and illustrated to the disciples in the first century about faith and what we can practically take away from it now for ourselves, right? We're in Mark chapter 5, and we're going to focus on Jairus' daughter. So we're going to skip over the woman who touched the Lord, who had been bleeding for 12 years. So we're picking up in verse 21. It says, "And when Jesus was passed over again by ship onto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him." So let's skip down to verse 35. So Jesus just healed the woman with the blood issuance. And then while he's telling her to go in peace, it says, while he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, Thy daughter is dead. Why troublest thou thy master? Why troublest thou the master any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he saith unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him, save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And he cometh to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and entereth in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, or Talitha cumai, which is being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with a great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something be given her to eat. Okay, so what are you seeing? What are you learning from the Lord here? Let's take it from the top and unpack this a little bit. So what I'm seeing here, what stands out is that word behold. Every time you see the word behold, it's like the appearance of something that is a given, that's done. So it says here, behold, what I'm seeing is an event is going to unfold to fulfill something, and it's going to fulfill, I think, how faith works, right? So this ruler, Jairus, fell at Jesus's feet, and he brings his request before the Lord. My daughter is dying, come. And this is his point of faith. Lay hands on her that she might be healed. So his point of faith wasn't say the word and she will be healed like one of the other men. His point of faith was come lay hands on her that she may be healed. So that's how his faith worked for him, right? But each person has a different understanding of how something should go. So in him, with this man, Jairus, he's thinking, lay hands on her and she will be healed. So Jesus is going on the way, and he's interrupted by another need, and he pauses. Jesus, never refuses anyone who comes at faith. And then in the middle of it, somebody from the synagogue's household comes with a question. So that jumps out at me too. And the question is a question that is completely full of doubt. Why are you troubling the master any further? Because in that person's mind, there was no more hope. The girl is dead. It's over. They only felt like, okay, he was this good healer. They didn't understand that he could raise the dead. And I don't know why, because you see like Elisha in the Bible, the Old Testament, raising the dead, that woman's son, for example. So they should have had the faith that they needed, and they shouldn't have been coming with this question. So what I see here is when Jesus heard the words of doubt, though, he intercepted them. He intercepted them, and he gives the counsel, don't be afraid, believe. So I see two things here. When you're dealing with a situation that is very grave and the doubters come around, you got to put the doubters out, right? You got to get rid of doubters, but you also get rid of fear, because he says, don't be afraid. So he addresses doubt, he addresses fear, and then he says what to do. So it's not just what not to do, it's what to do, which is only believe. So he's saying, turn away from fear, turn away from doubt, and turn your face toward faith in God, right? And then he puts all of the doubters away. It says in verse 7, only Peter, James, and John were to witness it, because now they're going to have first-hand account, that first-hand teaching, a first-hand lesson of faith, right? Then he comes in and he's surrounded by turmoil, chaos, confusion. And a lot of times when you're in the midst of a challenge that you need a miracle for, you need faith. Let's say, I think we should stop thinking faith is a miracle. Faith, I think, is a currency, is a spiritual principle and a spiritual quality of our relationship with God. So it's the ways of God. It's the ways we should be walking. By faith, God spoke the world into existence, right? So it's how we operate. It's the way of the faith in Jesus Christ. It's not a miracle. It's the belief. It's the crux of the belief, believing on the work of Jesus. So Jesus gets rid of the tumult, of the chaos that's surrounding them, that's surrounding this situation that requires faith. And he speaks, first of all, the victory, verse 39. Again, just as we saw yesterday, it's important to verbalize the faith. So that's what he does there. And of course, they're laughing. And so it says in verse 40, that jumps out at me again, the word all, he put all out. Get rid of everything that's bringing doubt. Get rid of every doubtful conversation, the doubt speakers, the doubters, right? And the only people, the essential people who needed to be there, he kept, which were the parents and Peter, James, and John. And then verse 41 jumps out too, because then he's going to take the young woman by the hand. Remember earlier when we looked at Jairus wanted Jesus to put his hand on her? So Jesus took her by the hand because she's of age. She's of the kingdom age. She's 12, right? So she's of an age of accountability and choice to follow him, to walk, right? And of course, we have this great miracle. And so we see that there are things sometimes that we need to do to receive the healing or receive the victory of faith when you're surrounded by doubt, when you're surrounded by turmoil, when you're surrounded by chaos, when you're facing a situation of impossibility, of deep distress especially. It's so very important. And then Jesus, of course, meets her physical needs as well, verse 43. So he didn't just heal and walk away. He gave them practicals, give her something to eat, right? And so we see here different things, spiritual practicals and instructions of how to surround yourself with faith and how faith works, right? That Jesus does not let the doubt and the confusion remain, right? He gets rid of those, all of it. Verse 4, the word all, he had put them all out. These people were laughing him to scorn. They were weeping and wailing. They had already, she is dead. There is no hope. They don't have any belief. They don't have any faith. And though he put those out, right? Only the people who came to him in the first place for help remained, along with his disciples, that he was demonstrating and showing the power of God to an inner, in a more intimate stage. And of course, he didn't want anybody to know too much about it because he had to go to the cross, and he knew that if too much word got around, it would not only hinder his work and his teachings, but it might even hinder the ultimate work, which was the cross, right? So that is it from me, beloved, with this. I hope this blessed you and is giving you a lot of food for thought, as much as it, gave me. Again, look at the things that tug at your heart, that jump out at you, whatever it is. Even the age of the girl jumped out at me. And I think what I learned was that is kind of like an age of accountability. She's no longer a child. She's a young woman, according to that generation. That society, young women were of an age of accountability, and men at 12, right? So that is it for me, beloved. At least that's what my research said. I hope this blessed you, gave you a lot of food for thought in some small way. Have a great day.